Good afternoon.
What's up?
We're on live again, by the way.
Ready to go.
Live again.
Live. What does that mean?
That means that on Facebook, they can go watch us live while we're on air.
You should go get on Facebook right now and tell people go watch.
I tagged you. I tagged me.
Oh, good.
So anybody who's on your Facebook should tag up, should show up.
Yeah, I'll let them know right now.
But
might get myself in trouble.
Don't get yourself in trouble. That's not a good idea. You got to turn that off, though.
yeah. My bad. The rookie. He's the rookie.
All right. So,
man, it's been a while, and it's not even been a while. It's been a very short week, but man, that's the world.
So much going on.
The rotation of the Earth.
Holy crap!
Has pulled in a direction that's.
And how many people are just like, all right, Trump, I'm on. What's up? What are we going to do?
Let's go.
Bernie Sanders even reached out.
For really?
Yeah, you didn't see that?
No, I didn't.
He went on Twitter and said that he's down to help control the. He's there to work the with them on capping credit cards at 10% interest rates, because I guess it's something he talked about on a campaign. I never.
That was a big issue for him. That's a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, Bernie Sanders has. He doesn't like the.
You're a Bernie Sanders guy?
No, no. But he has some things that are good. I mean, everybody has good qualities. I mean, I think he's a great guy. He seems like a great guy. I don't like his policies, but I don't think he's evil.
I could never take Bernie for seriously.
No,
every time he talked, I'm like, he's a character from some strange. Like sitcom somewhere. He should definitely be there should be character.
Yeah, Abraham Simpson.
There should be something. There should be a character named Bernie Sanders on either the symptoms, the symptoms, or what's the other one? Family Guy. I think Bernie Sanders belongs on Family Guy.
It's possible.
Yeah. There should be a character. I believe there already is, honestly.
But I mean, the socialism I'm not about. I'm not saying that.
He's a socialism.
That's his. That's okay. He will tell you that's what he is about, socialism.
Wow. You got it.
I what?
To really, advocate for socialism, you have to ignore a lot to
you
do.
That,
right?
I agree. I do. I don't disagree.
Or you have to be ignorant as the day is long. Like you have to have the good sense God gave chickens.
I think that socialism on its core sounds good to most people when it's presented properly.
If you don't work.
If you don't know the history.
Socialism only sounds good to people who are freeloaders. It never sounds good to a guy that's going to work every day, putting in the hours, putting in the effort, waking up early, going to bed late, grinding. It only sounds good to those who are lazy and those who are leeches in society.
Well, unions are a socialist program in themselves.
Explain.
I mean, it is. It's everybody gets the same. I mean, you have to work for it, but everybody gets the same.
Well, no, it's not
socialist.
The same.
Oh yeah, it's Marxism. Will tell you right away. That's the first move is to get everybody in the union.
That is what they did in history. Yeah.
That's the first.
I never put those two things together.
Yeah,
just
for sure. It is a socialist idea. But it's not a bad thing. But it does. I mean, the thing that where the union is not socialist is because, especially in my trades, maybe not in Ford workers or something like that, but in the trades, like what I do, the guy that works harder works all the time and is consistently working. The guy that doesn't work hard is on unemployment a lot.
Right, but it's not socialism because when you come into a union outfit, and I'm not advocating for union outfits. I don't think they're of any. I don't think they work. But anyhow, but you come into the union, and when you come into the union, right, you come into the union at a certain scale, and don't you have to like move your way through the scales to get to a certain place? To you make more money as you gain more experience. Is that not the case?
No, you get it through time.
Time, yes, time.
Time.
That's what's wrong with the unions. Time.
It has nothing to do. It's not like you test out. I mean, we do. We went to school. I went to apprenticeship school.
Yeah, but you have to have a certain education to do certain jobs. That's how it was in the city when I worked there. I mean, of course, there were dinosaurs that hung around longer, so they were the guys in charge. That's what was wrong with it, because these guys, just because they hung around,
that's the whole thing.
They earned positions. And you're like, you can't read the back of a cereal box, and you're telling me how to put gravel in a hole. Like, That's why I couldn't bro, I can't hang out here.
Someone had to tell you how to put gravel in a hole?
Well, yeah, you thought there was a policy for that or something in the union. I'm like, bro, it's not rocket science,
There probably
man.
is.
We just have to fill. No, there's a process, though. And you can't spell patch. You know what I mean? But you want to tell me how to. And the guy would come into work hungover and just because he had been there longer, And he would just and then they try to tell me how to do things because I always did I did concrete, I did construction, all my whole. That's from a kid.
Right.
So when I went to work for the city, I was a little older. I was probably in my mid-20s, and there were all these guys that were working there. Some of them knew what they were doing, but by and large, most of them just did not know how to put their pants on right, and they were telling me how to pour concrete. I'm like, bro, that is not what you should. the roads. These guys were working on roads in the city of Lorain, and I'm like, I was telling guys twice my senior how to do stuff. I'm like, no, we have to.
Well, that's a perfect, like when I was in a small company. When I started in the union, I worked for a company that had maybe 12 guys, something like that, something to that effect. And I did well there. I did well. I mean, I don't know where I fit in as far as who knew what, but everybody around me that was older knew what they were doing. All had different ideas, but they all pretty much knew what they were doing. But when I left there and I went to work for a big company with like a couple hundred carpenters working for them.
Okay.
Oh my God, dude, just brain deads.
Oh, they just didn't know what they were doing?
It was horrible. We were doing the Statler building downtown Cleveland. Probably 80 carpenters on the job. Out of 80 carpenters, not one of them could tell you what to make the rough opening of a door.
So you're saying that the union carpenters, the socialist carpenters, were better carpenters than the free capitalist carpenters?
No, they were both union.
Oh, they were both.
They were both union. Both of them were union shops.
Let's do a comparison between the union. You said socialist structure, and then the free capitalist, the guy out there that's just looking to go to work every day, doing whatever. Who's the better carpenter?
Oh, that doesn't make a difference in my opinion. I haven't seen anything that makes that a difference. That's like saying a black guy will vote for Trump or a black guy will vote for Kamala. It has nothing to do with them. One has nothing to do with the other. If a guy is talented and appreciates what he's doing and is trying to do a good job, he's going to be a good carpenter. You know what I mean? It just doesn't. The two have nothing to do with each other.
What I'm saying is, doesn't the free market force you to be better?
No.
As opposed to being protected by a union? That doesn't matter how good you are.
You're not that protected
all day long.
You're not that protected.
I felt like you were at the city. That's what I felt like. I felt like you were poor. They protected lazy, slothful, and that was the part of it. I'm not going to work harder than all these other guys, and I know it. I know more than them, and so
the problem is with the city,
and I'm not getting rewarded.
One place you work. That's it. You know what I mean? Like where we work in the Carpenters Union, I go to work for 20, 30, 40 companies. Mm-hmm. And I have the same job.
Different, yeah.
You know what I mean? So you have to. It almost has a free market value to it in that.
Well, in that you had to compete for the bids, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, the contractors have to bid, but as a worker, you have to. I mean, if you're no good, they'll just get rid of you. They're not going to keep you working. And because the carpenters is such a grand scale, it's not like. And I guess electricians probably have it too, where you have some that are more aimed towards industrial, or some that are more aimed towards dentist office or something, then they have a little better handle of it. Where in the carpenters, it's a lot of a guy is a metal stud guy, a guy's a wood guy, a guy's a cabinet guy, a guy's a flooring guy.
So you're pro-union? Is that what you're saying?
I am pro-union, yeah. I
Why?
think that. Why am I pro-union?
Yeah.
I've been in the union my whole life, so I mean that's a big part of it. I mean, it makes a big part of it.
It was good to you. The unions have been good to you.
Well, I mean, it was a better option out there in most cases. There's too many guys out there, but now that being said, there's enough guys out now that you don't have to accept. Like there's Janan and Herner. I don't know if you know who they are. They're in Monroeville. The program they have, I mean, they run everybody through apprenticeship training. They have some of the most efficient workers I've seen. They're hard workers. They're knowledgeable workers. And they just do a great job. I mean, and they're a non-union company. Star is another company that has some good people that work for them. I would put Janan and Herner a step above quality-wise of their employees.
Careful.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying Star is bad. I'm just saying I would put Janan and Herner a step above. They just have a little extra in there where they really put the time and effort into training their guys to be good. And they pay them well. They pay them some of their bonuses, and some of the guys are getting bonuses that are better than you're making as a union carpenter.
Yeah.
For the year. So, I mean, they have some really good programs where you can't do that in the union because of legacy costs now, because they have so much money going to retirees that are retired already.
I'm not sure where I stand on that. Unions and all that. But anyhow, back to Bernie Sanders. We said all that to come back to Bernie Sanders.
Yeah.
And Bernie Sanders he's courting Trump for it.
Well, he did about that part of it. And I know one of the other things that he wants to do is he wants to get rid of all the lobbyists. He wants to get rid of them. And that's why I said he's got some really wonderful things that are in his thoughts, but it's not, definitely not socialism, but getting rid of lobbyists, wonderful. Yeah, sign me up.
Yeah, I'm for it.
Credit cards not going over 10%? Sure, sign me up for that too.
7. Yeah, to be honest.
I agree.
That's ridiculous. 10% is insane.
Well, that's what I was talking about.
Jesus don't ask for more than 10. Come on.
That's what somebody else said. That who said that? I forget. I just heard that.
It's a common church.
It might have been Tucker Carlson. I think might have said that. The church don't ask for more than 10. But the thing is, the problem is that the people that can't pay off their credit cards are the ones that really are hurting the worst. You know what I mean? And have the least amount of means, and that's the ones that are paying the big high percentages.
And they're the ones that are exploited.
Yeah,
they're being exploited by which that's a whole other thing. But Trump's
that
out here
being
building
said, Reagan is the one who jumped up interest rates
on credit cards.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, before Reagan, I think you weren't allowed to be higher than 16 or 17. He's the one who opened it up. Before that, it was considered loan sharking. And by doing that...
It is exactly that.
It is exactly that.
Man, that is insane.
That's why in the 80s when we had the recession and housing, that's when loans on houses, like you were getting a mortgage on a house, it was 10%.
Do you use a credit card?
I do, yeah. I use credit cards, yeah. I mean, Amazon for sure. That card is always getting charged on constantly, 24.
Yeah, I like the concept of using credit cards because I like spending other people's money rather than my own. And so so if you use a credit card, this is what I like about it, as opposed to my bank cards. There's a lot of people. My wife likes to use the bank card. I'm like, stop using the bank card, because if the bank card gets jacked, and this happens all the time. If the bank card gets jacked, then my money is attached to the bank card.
Sure.
But if credit card gets hijacked, that's not my money. That's their money.
Yeah, but you know what? My buddy Hassan, he had somebody ran, and we think it might have been. Well, it doesn't matter. But my buddy, his debit card had money taken out, a bunch of money taken out of the ATM, quite a bit, over $1,200, I think, $1,400 total. Were taken out, and the bank reversed the charges.
They gave him back his money.
Yeah, and it was out of his debit. It was a debit card.
I wouldn't play with it. I don't play with it. I rotate 3 cards, and I make sure those cards. I mean, I had to learn all that the hard way, though. Growing up, it's just crazy. You go to college, they give you a credit card. Which is something
when I was young, I burned my credit when I was young real quick, and I actually had to pay it all off. And then before I could buy my first house, I was 24 or something. I had to pay off because I had ruined it when I lost my job and when I was 18 or 19 or whatever it was. So I had to pay off all this credit card debt to get my credit right to buy my first house. And as I was closing it, there was one that somebody was making me pay it again. I paid who I owed it to, but apparently they had already sold the debt. But I had to do it that day because I was closing the next day, so I had to.
Oh, that hurt.
Oh, it was horrible.
So
I wanted to, and the guy's making fun of me on the phone like he was an asshole. He's like, I'm like, yeah, I need to clear this up. I call him real nice, and he's like, oh, well, that's no problem. Just get. And I go, no, I paid it already. I give him the transaction. He goes, oh no, he goes, I own the debt now. I don't know who you paid, but I own it now. It's my debt. And then I said, no, I just need to, I got to clear this up. He goes, if you paid them, he goes, eventually it'll get to me. But it might take a few weeks or something, but I will get it. And I said, I have to have it to close on this house. And he goes, well, he said, then you're going to have to pay it. He goes, that's the only way I could do it. And I go, well, I mean, you want me to pay it twice? And it was so small too. It was like $350 or something. It wasn't nothing major. But I'm like, you know, that doesn't seem right. And he goes, well, you're gonna. I go, well, I can't. I'm not paying you. I'm not doing it. And he goes, well, then you're not getting a house. And I'm like, I'm starting to get mad, and dude, then he starts taunting me. He starts going, "You're never gonna have a house."
Oh no! He did that?
Dude, if I knew where he lived, I'd have heard him.
Stuck a knife in his neck.
I never seen nobody so, and it worked because I had paid it.
You paid him
because I got my house.
Fine. Oh my goodness.
But yeah, that was early on. I learned credit can get you in trouble quick. You know?
Yeah, so I use them, but I use them to my advantage. Like I never allow them to go beyond the there's a certain threshold that I hold. That I know.
Well, if you want to keep your credit right, you should never go over 30%. That's the rule of thumb. It's if you keep that keeps your credit score where it should be.
Yeah, I think that we should teach our kids that. You know, I'm really trying to show my kids that, teach my kids that, because
it don't matter. They won't listen.
I know.
Dale told me that. My Uncle Dale, he was constantly telling me
nobody ever told me, and I wish I would have known that. You know, the whole credit score situation, the interest rates, investing. You know, you just want.
Didn't you take applied math in school?
I took.
Or would you take?
What's that got to do with the price?
No, they taught us all that in applied math.
No, man, I don't remember ever hearing any of that. No, I took accounting 1, 2, and 3 with Hishme, but I never connected the dots that you know my checkbooking would someday equate to a credit score that would enable me to buy or to be denied to buy a home on credit or a car, or, you know, I never really connected those dots. I think we need to do a better job in the education system of helping kids connect those dots, especially in lower economic demographics, you know, in certain demographics.
Maybe. I don't know that it'll make a difference. I don't think it makes a difference.
What? It doesn't make a difference.
Nah, I don't think so. We don't give a shit. We don't think you know what you're talking about.
The problem is this. The problem is the people that can afford to make the mistakes do, and the people that can't don't, and those are the ones that are being exploited. They can't afford to make those mistakes. Like I would tell myself, Troy, you cannot afford to go into debt. You're already poor.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So the last thing you can afford to do without the luxury of money in the bank, the last thing you can afford to do is put yourself further in a hole and then allow that system to make you a slave and a consumer for the rest of your life. Now, granted, you know, like I woke up at some point and was like, wait a minute.
But I don't think
have to
you
save
listen
more
at
than
that age. I don't think. I don't
but
think
even
so.
but are they listening at 27? Because I think that's when men begin to develop a brain. Is at 27? Are you listening at 27? And do you know at 27? Has anybody ever taught you that at 27?
I would hope so. You think no, huh?
Bro, no, not where I came from, not in the hood.
Really?
I had to go find that information out for myself.
Didn't you work with anybody that
Nobody cared enough to tell me that?
Really?
They just say, hey, go pour this concrete for me.
And you guys didn't talk about nothing else while you were at work?
I mean, dumb stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Where are you, babe? Who are you hanging out with? I need to know your friends to help you so much.
Well, I mean, I think I look back at, like, say, Jimmy Dean, we talked about him earlier today. That's a journeyman I worked under.
Yeah.
Like, that's who I basically worked all the time with. And, yeah, we would have all kinds of conversations like that. Like, yeah, you know, just... We would.
I mean, I guess it was.
We would have debates about, like, lunch. Even I remember, like, because he was one that would his mom would pack his lunch every day because he was divorced at that time, moved back at home, and his mom would pack his lunch every day, and I'm like, well, you know, why not just take care of your own lunch? And he's like, because I won't do it, and then I'll be buying it, and this and that, and he's like, and then you'll spend X amount. I forget what it was. I want to say it was like we had it figured at that point like $8 a day or whatever.
Sure.
It was. So that's $40 a month.
$10, $15
when you
a day.
could have bought your lunch and packed them for $12.
So
you know what I'm saying? So we would have those conversations. Or even like the coffee, like a coffee every day. Buying a coffee is expensive. You buy a coffee every day and you pay a couple bucks for a coffee that you could have just poured a thermos at home or things like that. Yeah, we'd have those conversations.
I probably wasn't as transparent as I should have been either. Even if I were having them, I wasn't going to let this dude I didn't know or trust give me advice, you know.
Oh yeah, Jimmy was just like, he was one of those people that just put his advice out there for you.
Yeah.
He was a real asshole. I mean, he really was.
Those are the guys. You know, those guys. Those are the ones that, you know, they can be jerks all they want, but they're telling you the truth, whether you want to take it or not. You know.
The first day of work. Here's a funny story for you. First day of work, working with Jimmy Dean. Okay, I'm an apprentice. Never met the guy a day in my life. I got the job through my, at the time, father-in-law was a leasing agent for Visconti Properties, which Visconti was Dick Jacobs' old partner. It used to be Jacobs and Visconti. Visconti had Southland Shopping Center and all these big work. That's where my father-in-law worked. So the contractor that did all their work got me a job, and it was just, I was digging ditches, whatever, but he said, I can get you in the union with this other guy. So I go to work, first day, the union with this other guy. And here comes Jimmy Dean. Now this guy's, you know, he's got a cigar in his mouth, probably at that time maybe 26, you know, thin guy, kind of like grumpy a little bit. I'm trying to make you know, conversation with him, just regular conversation, you know what I mean? Just normal shit. So our day's going on, he's showing me how to do this or that, and he's laughing at me for my snips I got or whatever. And I said something to the effect of you know, what, was he married or something? And, you know, he give me a quick answer like, no, I'm divorced. And then whatever the next thing was. And no, he's like, you real short.
Yeah.
I asked him about 4 questions, and finally he just turns around and he goes, look, dude. He goes, I just got divorced. I moved in with my mom. I drive beater fucking trucks because I'm too cheap to make a car payment. Now, can we do some fucking work?
Son, I want to make nice with you. What did you do?
I go,
you went to work, son.
I went to work.
You went to work. That was it. From then on. Man. What did he teach you?
He was that's who me and him started. My first construction company, me and him started together. Yeah. It was James.
So you ended up developing a relationship with this
very
guy.
good. He actually ended up marrying my wife's sister.
Nice.
True story, yeah.
Yeah. We should need, and he's a grown man. That's a man.
Who, Jimmy?
Jimmy's a man.
He had a good dad. He had a good father. He grew up in a good family. His mom and dad were like, his dad taught him stuff all the time.
Don't you feel like real strong, principled men are like that? They're just direct. Yeah. They're just, they're just like, listen, like, just here it is.
Yeah.
Headlines, bottom lines. We don't need to talk about the middle.
Yep. That's a fact.
Here it is.
Yeah.
Are you like that?
I like him now. Now I see how funny he is.
Are you like that?
With what?
Just headlines, bottom lines. We don't need to talk about the middle. Let's get it done.
No, I'll talk about anything. I don't care. But I'll tell you the truth.
You tell you the truth.
I'll tell you the truth.
Is there a little bit of jerk in you?
No, I don't feel like it's being a jerk. I think you're being a jerk if you don't tell somebody the truth.
Right.
That's how I feel.
Yeah, you are that. Yeah.
I mean, if
the truth hurts, and so anyone who will tell it has to be very principled. And
the truth only hurts if you
don't live in it.
Right.
That's my point. And so all of those who live in the truth, they're abrasive, they're strong, they're direct, they walk in one direction, they're not. You can't mix them up.
But I feel like I see that you say that all the time, like you can't mix them up. But I feel like it's a good thing to be open to suggestion.
It is, but you'll have to test what I've come to know is true. And testing it isn't the same as just me open to suggestion from it. The testing, I'll allow the test of it, but what I won't do is just allow you to influence me because you do it. And that's what's wrong with most of society. It's like we just go along with, because her name's Taylor Swift, and we're like, oh yeah, I'm a Swiftie. Swiftie.
Trump's testing everybody.
Wow, he's out here making it known.
He just just threw down the gauntlet. He don't give a shit, dude. Holy shit.
Oh, man. And I love it. I'm here for the whole thing, man, where 2/3 of the country said, I'm with that guy.
And he's just
Taylor Swift could say what she wants. Oprah could say what she wants. Beyonce could say what she wants. I'm with that guy. I'm paying too much for eggs. I'm with that guy. I love it.
The podcasters, did you see that on Saturday Night Live, the skit that they had?
I didn't see it.
They showed, like, I forget what the name of the pod. It was a generic, they made it up, funny comedy podcast. There were a bunch of goofballs, dumbasses talking on the podcast.
Like
and they're
us.
like, and Trump's calling them. Yeah, I could do that. What's Secretary of Commerce? You know?
I need a guy. So let me go call this guy who works at Fox News Network, and I'm going to have him run the military for us now.
Yeah.
Perfect
Perfect pick, though.
But I think in his next election cycle, he learned so much from the first that he's not going to make those same mistakes coming back.
Well, I think that now there's a cockiness to it too, where
You think
it's like,
so?
well,
I feel like he's just
he didn't win the
very
popular
direct.
vote the first time,
Right.
So you kind of got to think it. You got to kind of look at yourself.
You believe that?
In 2016,
Yeah.
that he didn't win. I do believe that. Yeah, I think a lot of people were in 2016. I'll be honest. I voted for Trump.
No, 2020. I'm talking about 2020.
Yeah, but 2016, I voted for Trump, but I was like, when he first came on the scene, I remember my daughter calling me and going, "Did you see who's running for president?" And I said, "Who?" She said, "Trump." I go, "Oh, Jesus," like that's not, because he had already done it. I think he did it the time before against Obama, didn't he?
I don't remember.
Like he threw his hat in the ring for a minute
Obama
and
was
then
the
backed
reason
out.
he did it.
Oh yeah, they show that.
story.
You've seen that, right?
Yeah.
That like he makes fun of him at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, I think, or something. Yeah, that was pretty funny. But yeah, he threw his hat in the ring the one time. She said, I was kind of like, I could understand where you were questionable at that time, because here you are. It's just, Trump is, he's Trump.
I don't think he's arrogant this time. I think he's just really aware. He's very aware of the decisions that
You don't
need to be
think
made.
he's arrogant?
He's arrogant. I don't know. I don't know that I can
When you
say
bring
that.
Gatz out as the Attorney General, you are just like,
Don't you think that's
bitch slapping
outside of
everybody.
the accusations that have just come against him?
Not just, them were old accusations.
I just heard about them.
they've been, he's actually been found innocent of them or whatever.
Oh, well then, look, then that's a good choice.
But the people that
because
are coming out and going, no, they were true. Whether they had,
let's go back and review what we previously had for the last 4 years, okay?
Yeah.
And compare the two. No, it's a good choice. It's a good choice.
Because when you watch him and when he's on it, he's on it. And
He's on
any
it, dude.
Senate committee, everything. He's always
He's just
on
giving
him.
you
He's doing a
facts.
good job.
He's just coming after you. Like
I'm one that sits on I know you probably don't feel that. I don't want my leaders to be coked out, and I don't want that kind of stuff going on.
No.
That's kind of some of the suggestions
that
that
it
are
is?
going on
Yeah,
with them, is that he was buying prostitutes and doing drugs or whatever.
Yeah.
But if a guy's doing coke, but he's like making the country great, I'm not going to be mad about it.
It's like, I'm going to be mad at you.
If he's not tweaked out and grinding his teeth on the White House floor, man, I'm all right with it.
It's cool. It's cool. Well,
I'm not saying I want it.
Outside of that particular pick, I feel like RFK.
Oh, I'm real excited about RFK. And the thing is, they're trying to paint him as he's this crazy.
He was a Democrat, so I don't understand
but they've
what
always said that he's crazy, like an anti-vaxxer. And
because he dismantled their money laundering systems.
Sure.
You go after the pharmaceuticals and you go after the food industry. What's left, man? Where are you going to make your money?
Did you see the picture of them going to the UFC fight in the plane?
I did not see that.
No, you didn't see it?
No, what picture?
They all are eating McDonald's. RFK's got McDonald's right in front of him.
No.
Swear to God.
That's not a real picture.
That is a real picture.
That's a troll, dude.
No,
there's no way RFK is eating McDonald's.
I think Trump put it out there. I think that it was actually Trump.
Why are they eating McDonald's? First of all, that's not even real food.
If I can find
there's no way.
I swear to God.
I don't believe. No, I wouldn't. Even if I saw that image, there's no way I'm buying that.
I swear to God. Let me see if I can find it.
RFK is in way too good a shape, man. How old is he? 60? Is he 68?
I thought that's what they said, but that don't sound right.
It doesn't. Like when you say 68, that seems.
It seems impossible, but
yeah. But this dude is in incredible shape, and he didn't get there eating McDonald's.
I'm telling you. Here we go. Let me go see if I can find it.
Trying to find that.
Trump on his way to UFC. Yeah, they're all sitting on the plane, and he's got it. Now, he's not taking a bite, so
They just put that in front of him to troll, the
I'm
world.
pretty sure it's in his hand, though. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's what I saw. I swear. Let me see if I can find it. Where are you? Come on. I just keep seeing him at UFC. I want to see him on his way there.
Yeah, Trump took care of that. RFK said, "Listen, Trump,
you got to get that off.
You got to get that off of there, man. I'm not that guy."
I was shocked when I seen it.
I seen him at the. No, I didn't see RFK. I saw Trump at the last UFC.
Yeah, RFK was with him.
Was he?
Yeah.
Was he there?
Oh, didn't you see him come in like the freaking Avengers?
They are the Avengers.
Yeah, RFK on the plane with Trump. Right? What do I put on here? On the plane with Trump?
I'm trying to find it. It's not there, man. It's a figment of your imagination.
I was, what's that called? What do they call that?
Yeah, it's one of those.
I forget what they call it.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about. Where you think you've been that way forever.
Something effect.
And it's not. It never was. Like Tony the Tiger's nose was always blue. What?
And the Fruit of the Loom has the cornucopia.
Yeah.
They say it doesn't never happen.
No, bro, that was there.
It had to have been, right?
It was there.
I feel like it was.
There's a bunch of those. I'm like, no, that's not true.
There's people that say, like, show videos of him or pictures of him doing the Fruit of the Loom in their underwear, like they'll show them, but I don't know if they're true or not. Like, I mean, everything, that's the problem. Like, you see.
Just let me remember it the way I remember it.
Like my daughter, she sent me. I sent her something the other day. Oh, I know what it was. Did the woman that killed her father? Did you see that? She killed her father because of Trump won.
Oh my God.
She went nuts and killed her old man. Like I don't know what the deal was with it. So I sent it to my daughter, like the clip of it, the news clip, and she sends me a text back that says, "I wonder if that's true." Like that's where we're at in this world.
Yeah,
like
where anything can be fabricated.
Here's a news story. I wonder if it's true.
AI is tripping me
hell?
out. Yeah, AI is tripping me out, man. Like sometimes I see stuff and I'm like, what is that? Like, there's no way. And then they'll have images of like sea creatures they caught, and they'll be AI generated, and those won't be real. It's just keeping me out of the ocean. I'm never going to the ocean again, simply because AI has fabricated sea creatures that are beyond terrifying. There's no way. I'm just not doing it. Did you see that thing with Rogan? I think it was not Rogan, where he brings the scientists on, and the scientists, they begin to discuss memory and what memory is, and like how the scientist says, listen, there's nothing in the brain that would suggest that we have memory.
There's nothing that suggests we have memory?
Right. He says there's no evidence in your brain. If we take your brain apart and we look at it, I forget the guy's name or anything, but if we take your brain apart, he's like, there's nothing in your brain.
There you go.
Let me see that.
And I've got it up on the screen.
Oh
right
man,
now too.
he's got a Big Mac or something. It's like quarter pounder with cheese. He's got a quarter pounder and some nuggets
and fries.
Yeah, he's got nuggets and a little dipping thing there. He's got some barbecue sauce with some French fries. Oh, right? That's gross, man. That cannot be real. That is not. I don't believe a word. Why in the world are they all rocking? Uh-oh. Well, no.
Because Trump was working at McDonald's. He probably got him a discount.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah, I mean.
That's the world we live in.
But that was just on the way to the UFC Friday or Saturday. Was that Saturday night, right?
Yeah, it was after.
Did you watch that, the Tyson fight? That's not what I remember.
Come on, man. Hey, listen, Mike. I'm gonna need you to put something on. All right, put some clothes on, dude. Come on, man. Nobody wants to see nobody wants to see your cottage cheese.
I told Guido, I said that's when I knew he lost. I said when they showed before the fight even started,
you knew.
He turned around and I'm like, oh man, that's an old man ass. He ain't winning shit.
You're like that.
He ain't got no ass.
That is not ready for this. That is not ready for what we're in. No, I clearly that was a scripted event that we witnessed. Clearly, it was scripted. The first 2 fights, though, were brutal, man.
Oh,
it was just almost too much to
fights.
watch.
The second 2 fights were really good fights.
Holy moly.
They were really good fights,
those
both
girls,
of them.
Oh, my goodness. They just beat each other to death, man.
Yeah, that was the second fight. The first fight was dumb. That was a lame, like, I don't know what that one was, where he's humping him in a corner. That fight sucked. But the second fight and the girl fight were awesome.
Man.
Yeah, those were definitely great fights.
I guess those were the only 2 I saw, but man, that was brutal. But then, yeah, then to see that was ridiculous. Netflix better be careful. They're going to ruin boxing for.
Did yours freeze up?
No.
Yours didn't freeze at all?
Not at all.
Once? Mm-mm. Really? Mine froze up about 3 times.
No, mine didn't. I don't know what was going on.
Everybody was like complaining about it too.
It blurred out as soon as I put it on. Like it was like pixelated for a minute, and then it came in and never
See,
lost
mine did
it
that
after
a couple times where it was pixelated, but then there was times where it would just be that like spinning thing at 25 and 99.
What's wrong with
Almost
Netflix?
Never. I don't know. They said they had too many, more than they anticipated, or whatever you want to call it. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't know. It wasn't that bad though. I mean, I watched the whole Tyson fight without it doing it. I watched the whole girl fight without it doing it.
Yeah. Well,
it seemed like it was more in the commercial than it was anything. But yeah, they walked in like the Avengers, the UFC. That was wild.
Yeah.
Like to see all of them coming in there and and Jelly Roll picking his nose. Did you see that?
What?
Dude, this is bad.
I did not see.
Dude, it's bad.
You're telling me Jelly Roll picked his nose
on TV,
on television,
sitting behind Trump,
just in there.
Even worse. Even worse.
He did not eat a booger. Do not tell me he ate a booger.
Dude.
Do not tell me.
Dude, he did.
That is not real TV. Stop it.
No, I swear to God. Look, I'm going to show you.
He ate a booger intentionally then. There's no way.
No, wait till you see it. He gets caught. I'm going to show you. Dude, it's going to blow your mind. My wife sent it to me. I swear, not even an hour ago, she sent me this. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. He literally, and where is it at here? Here she goes, right here. This is it right here.
No way.
Dude. So Jelly Roll is right above her. Or right above Trump, I mean. You see him?
Oh, no.
Dude, he puts it right in his mouth.
My man ate.
He puts it right in his mouth. He just kind of looks at it and goes like this. He goes.
First of all, why? Why? Why would you eat a book?
Why would you do it in public? If it's something you do,
you have got to know. You have got to be more self-aware that you are on a camera somewhere.
You're
somehow.
behind the president of the United States.
You're Jelly Roll. just.
And you're behind the president of the United States.
You're Jim. All right, Jimmy. Do not eat boogers, man. Somebody might be watching.
I plan not to.
All right, just be, I don't care if you're in the car, you think you're alone, don't do it.
I mean, I could see like
are boogers that delicious? I've never eaten a booger, but I'm just wondering, what do they taste good?
He just didn't know where to put it. I don't know.
Flick that thing away, man.
Where's you gonna flick it on the president?
Somewhere. Flick it behind. Get rid of that, man.
Do you think you
just gotta get rid of that, man?
Do they file assault charges if you flick a booger on the president?
Blow like that. Like clean it out. But don't eat it. Don't eat it. Listen,
dude, I can't believe it.
That's
I couldn't
crazy.
Believe it.
I never saw that. When did that come out?
She just sent it to me like a couple hours ago. She just sent me that. I'm like, wow. You got to be kidding me.
Wow.
And he literally, you seen it. I mean, he literally just goes. I mean, there's no, there was no AI involved, nothing. He's just enjoying lunch.
I'm gonna go ahead and believe that was some AI technology that was next level.
The comments are great. The comments are like,
I can't. I just can't do it. I can't do it.
The comments are like, somebody save me.
Somebody save me. That is good. That is really good. That's really good.
Well, Jelly Roll could do whatever he wants.
He didn't get that big.
Jelly Roll.
He didn't get that big looking at boogers. You know what I mean? My bad.
I wonder what the nutritional value of a booger is.
I mean, it's got to be high in protein, salt. It's got some immune it's got to offer some immunity. You know, it's got to be some stuff in there that.
Do you think that? Who do you think ate worse that day? RFK or Jelly
RFK,
Roll?
Definitely RFK. I mean, I guess it depends if Jelly Roll was part of that. Thanksgiving's coming up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Thanksgiving.
It's true.
Away from the boogers. Oh, my God. Yeah. Man.
Yeah. So that was the Avengers as they're coming in.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens here. The economy likes it.
They said that Elon Musk is just like at Mar-a-Lago and just won't leave. Just chilling.
It's probably good for his business. It's just weird because I never wanted to buy a Tesla. I never was interested. But now I'm like, make one that's a hybrid so I can buy one.
That's like mixed?
Yeah.
You want because you want gas and you want why?
Yeah.
Why?
I drove one. I drove a Toyota Sienna, or is that what it is? Sienna? Is that the van?
Yeah.
I think it's the van. And it was a hybrid. I drove around the state of Arizona for $20.
That's pretty good.
I'm not kidding you, man.
That's pretty good.
$20. I started in Phoenix and I went all the way around the state. $20. That's all I put in that gas tank.
Did you have to charge it or anything?
No, because it does its thing. While you're driving, it charges.
Oh, okay. So if it's a hybrid, it like charges the. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it was like, and if you stayed within a certain thing, it used the energy.
So that's far better than probably battery then.
Definitely, I would. That's what I'm saying. I don't understand why he doesn't make them. I don't understand why the industry didn't make those cars first phase hybrids. All of them. You know, unless you got like a certain percentage that's being tested in that arena, where they're just full on.
Well, before
cars.
he had the Teslas, I mean, that Prius had been out. That's a hybrid. That's been out forever.
Yeah, but every other vehicle wasn't. Like, give me the Cybertruck in hybrid form, I might buy it.
Oh, I got you.
You see what I'm saying? Give me more options in the hybrid world. I would probably, and then let the infrastructure begin to form around it, and then I'd be interested in it. But you take those hybrids to mechanics.
They can't work on it.
They don't know what to do with that.
You'd have to be an engineer. Yeah, you can't just,
Yeah,
there's not much you're going to do with those.
Yeah, man, Roscoe from down in South Lorraine, he don't know what to do with that. You bring him in, you bring him a Prius, he's like, yeah, your battery's bad. He ain't got nothing for that. There's nothing that, there's no
just
tool.
Replace the battery.
Yeah, but then what? How much does that cost? Much as a new car.
Big money, yeah.
Right.
They're big money, I think.
That's why I don't, yeah. So I guess that's what keeps me from doing that. But yeah, I think it's good business for Elon right now.
Yeah, except for that, I feel like most of his first buyers were liberals.
Yeah, and now I think they're going to become more conservative for sure. So he's his shares.
They're probably just like because they still have they're probably like upside down on them still, like they're paying on them. You know what I mean? And they're just like they're so pissed off. They want to go buy something else, right? They want to go buy something else, but they can't.
And they're stuck. How do you trade that thing in?
I don't know.
I don't think you can.
Probably, right? Yeah.
Well, the whole car value market, that thing's crashing right now. You see that? Your truck, man, it's like
gone.
It's like people are. There's one I saw it somewhere on the news. Like this sitting on them, and they're dropping it by thousands, 20,000. It's all dropping. Nobody's buying it.
I believe it.
Nobody's buying it. I mean, those cars, those trucks got so expensive. They're amazing. Like I looked at those new Silverados. And I'm like, oh, man, I want one of those. But
no, you don't.
Yeah.
I'll let you take mine for.
You want to trade? You drive my Yoda, I'll drive your Rado.
I'll let you take mine for 3 days.
Okay.
And you won't want it.
Why? What's wrong with it?
Just junk.
Really?
Junk.
It looks so good, though.
It looks so nice. Good. It's nice. It looks nice. It's I
feel like when I'm driving
it's like a beautiful
Bob Seger singing in the background.
It's like a beautiful stripper. Beautiful on the outside.
I went to the Bob Seger, you went to the stripper. There's the analogy.
No, it is. I've hated it. I hate it.
Really?
It unlocks itself on occasion. Just in my driveway, unlocks itself. Never can figure out why. Haven't been able to figure it out whatsoever. One time I was literally sitting on my front porch and my keys were upstairs. Nobody was upstairs, and right in front of me, the lights went and it unlocked. I'm like,
you think somebody? Don't you have that feature where you can remote lock, unlock? Do you have that?
Yeah, from the app. Yeah. Yeah,
maybe
but I
somebody's
had
got
that
your
at my
password,
Ford, and
man.
I never had was a problem.
No.
You know what I mean? And then they're like when I get in it, sometimes it's connected to my Apple CarPlay, sometimes not. Every time I have to hit her pen to get in there. Have to hit her pen. So I have to go on when I have, say you get in a truck with me, I have to enter the passcode for my phone in front of you in a big screen about that big every time I get in the truck. Well, not every time. 60% of the time. Sometimes it just doesn't need it.
50% of the time, it works 100% of the time.
The Raptor, whenever I had it was the first truck I had that has the auto high beams. Have you ever had that yet?
Yeah.
The auto high beams, phenomenal. It's one of my favorites.
Does its thing, just comes on when it
needs to, and then shuts off automatically.
Yeah, I got that.
I mean, on my Raptor, you were just like amazed, like, holy wow, this is awesome. It never misses. It's always right.
And I got a funny story about that, man. I almost got
Mine don't. Mine are like freaking now. They like just come on, stay on when people pulling up. Like they're horrible. They're so delayed. Like it's just
bad.
garbage.
Yeah,
I just don't like it. I don't like that truck whatsoever. Rides like shit. Everything. I just don't like it.
You'd love my Toyota then. It's reliable. There's nothing wrong with it. I can't think of anything.
I wouldn't buy a Toyota. That's like a terrorist truck.
Really?
I mean, that's what they
drive forever.
Yeah.
They drive for. That's why I bought it, because I was like, man, I want to
That's
buy
why
a
the
truck.
terrorists buy them.
Ever.
That's why the terrorists buy them.
So you're saying I'm a terrorist?
I'm saying that terrorists
you're a
drive
socialist.
the same thing that you drive. That's all I'm saying.
All I'm saying is the ideologies of the unions belong to socialism. I'll let you take it for a cruise, man. You'll never be the same. You're like, man, this thing starts up every time.
No,
Does
you know what?
everything
That
it's supposed
Raptor,
to.
honestly, was But I mean, I've never driven anything like
That's
it.
a
That
good-looking
was the
truck.
Best truck.
I don't know why you got rid of that, dude. That thing was nice.
Because I got 53,000. They gave me for that thing.
Okay, because you're trading
53 grand. I'm like, and you know what? Like you just said, it tanked right now. What would it be worth today?
I don't know.
What I mean?
Worth more than that Silverado.
Probably. Probably.
Yeah.
But
hindsight.
that's a trail boss. It's not.
No, yeah, it's nice, dude.
mean,
I look at it, I'm like, man, it's really tempting.
Yeah, it's not. I'm
But my
not a
truck's
fan.
paid for, so
but somebody has a ZR2 trail boss or whatever, the ZR2 one, the bigger one. Then they love it. They say they have no complaints.
Man, I think
Friend
they
of
look
mine.
sweet. My buddy has one. What does he have? Yeah, he's got one of those. He calls it White Boy. He calls it White Boy. It's big. It's a big white truck, man. I don't know what size it is, but it's the front end looks like a Mack truck coming at you, man. That's
probably that ZR2.
Oh,
yeah.
it's nice.
Yeah, they're
it's
sharp.
scooped hood, man. It's my goodness, it's nice.
Those are like 96 grand.
Holy moly! Who's buying trucks like that? Who?
I got a friend that's a millionaire owns one.
Well, yeah, but the average Jimmy out here. I'm just trying to like drive a cool truck.
Right? No, that's
Man,
not me.
$100. That's deep.
Yeah.
I mean, for a midsize, for that Toyota now, that it went up. That Tacoma, they went up to like 60.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Well, mine was 63.
They have got to come down. There's no way. There's no way we should be buying.
No, because
Trump
they were
help us.
already high. Because what happened was they already got high. They were too high.
To
Whatever
begin
it
with,
was,
yeah.
7 years ago or some 8 years ago, they got so high that they started doing 7-year loans on them instead of. Remember when we were
That's
young?
never
it was
a good
like
sign.
5-year loans.
Yeah, 4.
When I was a kid, it was 5.
4 and 5, but
first cars I remember buying were 5-year loans.
Yeah.
Now they'll go 7.
because you wanted a lower payment, but yeah.
Possibly,
Now-
but I
now
think
they'll
that
go
was pretty
8.
standard.
Won't they go 8?
Do they? I don't know.
Yeah, I think when I went to buy a Harley one time, they offered me an 8. I'm like, no, look, man, I don't need that.
Yeah, that's nuts. But I mean, the thing is, so they were already high because they went to that 7-8 years. Well, that was half the price they are now. They were like 40, 50,000 then. You know what I mean? When they started doing the 7-year loans. Now they're even higher. And by the way, wages haven't moved up that much in those 10 years either. I mean, for a union carpenter or union,
Yeah.
really haven't. They've moved a little bit, Yeah, socialist carpenter. It is a socialist idea. They teach you that in Marxism, that's the first thing you do. That's part of Marxism. The first thing you do is to get the union strong.
I don't want to say that.
Why not?
Well, have you ever watched any of the what's that one series called? I forget what it's called. The guy, man, I can't think of it. But the whole thing is geared around the socialist movement. Man, I forget what it's called.
I probably didn't watch. I don't like to
exactly
poison my mind.
You'd know exactly what I was talking about. But they did that. It was a big fight for the union. I can't remember what it's called. Peaky Blinders.
Oh, I haven't seen that. I've heard about it though. Yeah, I've heard about it.
It's the whole show that it revolves around. It's not very edifying, but it's geared around the whole idea of socialism and this one guy that fights, for the free market and fights the whole socialist movement in the world globally. It's just one character. His name's
right.
Tommy. But yeah, so
fighting socialism.
Yeah, he fights socialism. But
it's a true story, or
no. It's just but it takes that era of where there was a threat of socialism, communism to overthrow the world. And it really deals with it, but it deals with it from a perspective of like a gang of guys who rise from this impoverished, demographic to this place of prominence, and then he gains notoriety, and his fight then becomes the communist socialist movement, and he starts building cars, and he makes liquor, and the whole thing. But the whole dynamic is centered around the socialist Marxism movement and the communist movement of the 30s, the 20s, the 30s, the 40s. And you see him wrestling with these dynamics in the world, basically. And then peppered in is all this other debauchery. But yeah.
So speaking of communism, do you think that Joe Biden...
Did you see that?
Is trying to frickin'
He's trying to start a war, dude. That's crazy.
Yeah, he's trying to make things rough on Trump when he comes in, huh?
Well, I don't know if it's so much that as much as it is greed. I think that is the industrial war complex at its on display for everyone to see. And he's made no bones about it. Before he leaves, he's going to feed as much money to the war in Ukraine as possible. Why? Because all that money comes back to all his people here. That's just a money laundering scheme. And the bigger the missile, the bigger the money.
I think I even seen them at some point make an argument that, all this money is being spent on American weapons.
It's all being spent to make money, and all of those people invested that are in a vested interest in that, they want it to be spent like that because they make money every time there's a war, every time a missile goes into the air, every time they sell one. All those people get rich. We should all invest in the same stocks. We'd all be millionaires.
Yeah,
because that's what it is, man. It's just that, and I know that. Oh no, and then isn't it interesting how they use such an altruistic motive to say no, we need to protect Ukraine, from the dominance of Russia, but
I've been saying it over and over. I've said it a million times. The problem with Russia and Ukraine, what happened was they sent Kamala over there, and she talked with, and she told you it was.
Are you saying it right? Because you got to say it right.
Say what right?
Kamala.
Camel toe? Kamala? I don't know.
Is it Kamala or is it?
I think it's Kamala, but I don't know.
Yeah.
That's what I think it is. But they sent her over there to talk to Zelensky ahead of time. This is when Russia's building up on the border. And when they send her over, and this is her own words, she's the one who tells you exactly what happened. She didn't talk to Putin whatsoever. She had not one conversation with Putin. She went over there and she talked just to Zelensky, and all she told him was, "Don't worry, we got your back."
Yeah.
And she's proud of that.
Yeah.
That's the worst thing you could have told him. That's what I've been saying. That's the same.
Why don't we have diplomats negotiating terms of peace?
Yeah.
Why don't we have
not go ahead and do it. We got you.
No, we're going to fight on this side of the war exclusively. We're not going to negotiate peace. We're not going to use our influence in the world to come to terms of peace so nobody dies.
Right.
We're just going to support this. Why? Because because war
I
is
don't
big
even
business.
think it's that. I think she's too stupid. Am I wrong?
I don't think she's a very intellectual. I don't think she's much of an intellectual. However, I think she is the mouthpiece for the industrial war complex, and she just is feeding money back to her people.
But that could be.
Her
So they
policies
tell
are there to
you
make money
come
for her
there,
people.
So they tell you to come there, and that's what they want you to say to them, right? Is what
I would
you're saying.
assume. Yes, I would
So
assume
that still comes down to stupidity because you're too stupid to say no to that. I mean, you should step into that situation and go, nah, I don't think so.
Or you understand that your interest in this is selfish. You don't care about the average American or the innocent lives that have to die. It's all about making money.
Do you think we can go without us paying any taxes? Like, do you think that citizens should have to ever pay taxes?
I think taxes have a place. I think we should definitely contribute to the liberties and luxuries of a free market society. I think that has merit, but but I believe it has been grossly taken advantage of by very greedy people who sit at the top of the mountain to make sure that they live in a certain way, and they do it on the backs of those who pay taxes.
Yeah, I think when you look at like the federal government and you look at like Trump saying no tax on tips or no tax on overtime, things like that, I think maybe just no tax on wages, period. That's what I think. Mm-hmm. I think that we can do it. I think it's just a redistribution of money anyways. Like you got so many people that are paying taxes that don't get returns.
So what should our taxes go to? That's a very simple way to approach this conversation. What should our taxes go towards? Roads? Our military? What else? You see what I'm saying?
Well,
what else?
You do have to have social services to some degree. I mean,
social services, as in
the people that need help. You know, like me and you, we grew up, we were poor, we had welfare, and
we'll give a percentage to.
Yeah, I mean, I think that has to happen.
Or we give a percentage to.
I mean, churches can do the same thing, but
churches help, yeah.
But not everybody.
If you ask me, in a utopian society, that's what I would say. Like, if you want to help your community build bigger churches, and make them accountable for what they give to the community, and make a percentage of what comes in, force it to go to the community. That was one of the things I did automatically when I began to operate from full capacity. I took a percentage of what we brought in, and I made sure that was invested in the community of faith. So last year we gave nearly $1 million back to our community, meaning like rent, groceries, just average benevolent requests that came through. $1 million nearly went back to the community of faith. So I think if we do that type of thing in the government, you just make sure that those funds, of course you have to pay people to do certain things. I
think it's all just redistribution right now. I don't think that the average working Joe out there, I don't think that the taxes that you're getting taxed in your paycheck are doing anything. All they're doing is basically, by the end of the year, you've got people who barely paid taxes getting huge tax returns, and then you got other people that aren't getting any taxes that are back, or maybe they even owe some more.
I have to pay a lot.
Yeah, and I'm just saying and I'm not talking about an individual who is a business. Like the business should pay taxes. You know what I mean?
Okay.
The businesses should pay their taxes.
So you're saying the business itself should pay, but not the workers of the business?
Sure.
Really?
I think none of the workers should have to pay an income tax. I don't think so. I don't think it's necessary.
I mean, what they have proved to us over the last 4 years is that we could do a whole lot more with our tax dollars and we're not willing to do.
We're taking $35 trillion of debt and then giving away $40 billion. I think they don't need our tax dollars.
They do not. That's what they've proven.
That's the way I've seen it.
I think you're right.
There's enough income out there in taxing the other businesses. And by the way, there's enough, like you say, roads. I thought those were paid for when you buy gas. I mean, there's a tax in your gas. In fact, it's like 80 cents a gallon or 75 cents a gallon is tax for the roads.
Right.
I mean,
right.
why do you need my tax for that?
So I'm talking services like,
Police,
fire, those types of things. Yes. Military protection. We need to build our military.
What does your property taxes go towards?
Yeah.
Police, fire,
right.
social services.
Right. And how many times do we have to pay that?
But why do we got to pay the income tax to the federal government? That's what I'm telling you. I don't think we do.
You think?
I don't think we do. I think we pay enough taxes outside of that. Sales tax, you're paying property tax, you're paying.
Well, I'm down. I mean, if you're suggesting getting rid of some of those, yes, I'm down.
I think income tax can just disappear. I don't think there's any reason to.
I think it should be near 1/10 of what it is right now.
I think it should be gone. I think it just be gone. Income tax, I think, should be gone.
Yeah.
Other than, say.
And isn't that what Trump is proposing?
No, I don't. Not that.
But with the tariffs and everything.
Well, that's the way I guess it was in the 1800s. Like when America went at its root before, I guess that was.
There was no income tax.
We didn't have income tax whatsoever. Yeah. And I remember.
So what's the income tax now? What's the rate?
It depends on what you make. It could be upwards of 43%. You know what I mean? That's a lot. And then that don't even count your property taxes. And you know what? Property taxes are so when we talk about roads and cops, police, I mean, that's your property taxes. But that's not like, it's not like when you buy a car, which I feel it should be. But, when you buy a car, you pay a tax, sales tax on the car when you buy it. When you buy a house, you pay tax on it every year. Just every year you have it. You just keep paying it. So you're renting your house the rest of your life, no matter what.
No matter what. Yeah.
You're renting that house. Now, I will give credit to cities like Rocky River that if you were retired in that neighborhood,
you should not.
You don't have to pay it. And in West Virginia, if you're a veteran, you don't have to pay it.
Veterans shouldn't have to pay for hospital medical costs. Those are things we should do right away.
I think we do that already.
No, we do not.
I'm pretty sure.
They get free medical.
Veterans do. Yeah.
Their families.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think so. I think their families do too.
And they should.
Am I wrong or no?
I don't know that they do, but they should.
I know that they do for sure. That's why we have all the VA hospitals.
Yeah.
And I believe and I don't know enough about it because I'm not a veteran myself.
I'm not either.
But I don't know exactly. I don't know enough about it. But I think there was a new program that come out where or at least it's been proposed maybe that they're trying to reimburse for regular hospitals rather than just VA hospitals.
Okay, that's what I was going to say. So what's the deal with the VA hospitals?
Because VA hospitals have all the same services. They have dental services. They have heart surgeries. They have all that stuff. They have all the different services. And the VA does cover, I believe, outside of there, too. Like, if you had a heart attack and you end up going to I'm pretty sure that's covered.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, if you're...
it doesn't feel like it to me, though. It doesn't feel like...
There's been some complaints that it's probably not as good a service as it should be. You know what I mean?
Sure.
There's been complaints about
as
that.
It should be for all of us.
But I believe it's always been.
It's all corrupt, right? I mean, we know that, right? We know that the insurance industry as a whole is corrupt. I mean, I pay insurance for my buildings, and a tornado came through and destroyed all the buildings.
About that, yeah.
And I got $1,800. So that's
done now. You didn't go fight it, or
I got an attorney, but then but it's like the people within the entire industry know the racket, so they protect themselves in the racket. So like you call a company and say, I need you to come inspect this roof and tell me whether or not I can get it, the insurance company. It's like, why do I have to convince an insurance company to repair a roof after a tornado?
Their attorneys are on payroll too. It's not like they have to pay an extra
They'll
amount.
wait you out. They don't care. Yeah. And so the whole thing's corrupt. The insurance for medical is corrupt. My son had a degenerative eye disease, right? We tried to get the insurance company to pay for it, to cover it. Wouldn't cover it. Had to pay it out of pocket. It was a degenerative eye disease.
What is that?
Right? There was treatment. It was I forget the name of it, but it's cones and everything. He had to have like these surgeries done so they didn't continue to like squeeze or something. But it's been a while since he's had it. But we had to pay out of pocket. The insurance companies wouldn't cover the cost of the surgery that he had to have to stop the degenerative eye disease. Had to pay it out of pocket.
Wow.
Meantime, you could go get a gastric bypass because you have terrible eating habits. But my son has a degenerative eye disease, and
They
we
pay
won't
for
cover that.
bypass?
Yes.
Really?
Yes, gastric bypass. You can get gastric bypass paid for, but not a degenerative eye disease. This
Why don't they just
is
pay for
corruption.
Ozempic?
Ah, man, I don't know. I don't know why they don't. But anyhow, it makes you want to rage against these.
Oh, I
industries.
think
They
the
just-
medical. I think it's all a big scam. There's no reason for them to make you healthy. That's the biggest
the
problem.
auto insurance, like
Not even just the insurance. I think like the medical,
tell
the
me?
doctors, but the insurance I think are the biggest problem. I believe that they're the reason that and I even will go one step further. I don't even think it's insurance companies as much as it's attorneys and frivolous lawsuits.
everybody. That's what I'm saying. Everybody plays the game inside the system, and then once everybody gets to playing the game inside the system, they're like, and I saw that in COVID. I saw that when COVID went down. I'm like, oh, everybody's playing the game. They got to protect the game,
Right.
So nobody's going to narc on nobody because listen, if it's COVID, it's COVID,
Right.
So let's not. This is how we make our money. So let's not expose the game here.
But these frivolous lawsuits have caused insurance companies to skyrocket. Like they're like.
Well, I mean, that's what you get. That's what you get when you deal with that level of corruption, where you're just poking it at. I mean, they're just bleeding out the average American to the point of where you can't drive a car without insurance. You can't live in a house without insurance. You can't go to the hospital without insurance. You can't drink water without insurance. You know what I mean? It's like you can't do anything in this country without somebody taxing you, charging you. I gotta go down the road to get permission to drive a car that's paid for. I gotta go get a little sticker from the government. Say, hey man, this is a paid-for vehicle, but I need you to give me permission to drive it. So tell me what the embezzlement fee is for this.
It's a privilege, not a right.
Come on, man. That doesn't make any sense. I gotta go down to the Ohio Wildlife Association to pay to go on public land paid for by tax dollars to hunt an animal and kill.
But that's to benefit
tag.
everybody, though.
That
one is.
Who does that benefit? And why do I have to pay to go fishing in a lake that nobody? You didn't make the fish. You didn't make the lake.
Yeah, but you don't.
Why do I
want
have to pay for it?
You don't want them to run out either. They do control. I mean, if they're doing their job and they try, the goal is to try and keep them from getting too much fish, so that you're not going in and I mean those things I understand. They're good systems in play. When it comes to hunting, like a hunting license, just to make sure that somebody is.
The government don't own it.
I get that, but if we go out
You're never gonna change my mind.
kill all the animals,
Don't kill 'em.
then there's none.
Yeah, don't kill them.
But there's always that one guy that wants a little more.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
good for him.
What if that guy is just killing them all, taking them, and then he's charging you
Then the system will
20
fix
pounds
itself.
for the meat, $20 a pound?
Then the system should fix itself. I mean, I don't know, but it's just okay. Let's just say, all right, we need that. We need that service to monitor the industry. It's too much. It's too much on top of the taxes I pay every day.
No,
to
I don't
just
disagree.
exist on
I
the
don't
planet.
disagree. But I think that
and maybe I wouldn't be so outraged. Maybe I wouldn't be so outraged if the insurance company actually honored the contract I entered with them. Maybe I wouldn't be so outraged.
That's true.
That
you were forced to have.
I was forced legally to have.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe I wouldn't be so outraged by the green man in the woods if I didn't have to pay so much out of my own pocket after I pay insurance, medical insurance, for my son to see. Maybe I wouldn't be so outraged. But until then, I'm going to be a little outraged. And hopefully, I don't know, hopefully one of these Avengers does something about that Trump's hiring, right?
Yeah, I don't know what they can do about the health insurance. That Obama ruined that. And now Trump, in his last one, said that he didn't know what to do because he didn't want to leave people without insurance. You know what I mean? Like, because he's worried that there's people that are out there that'll end up without insurance now.
Don't you feel like the free market would fix it?
It did before. I mean, it worked just fine before that.
Why do we have
they had, that's the problem. They had, like, what did they call it? Like, GR, I think is what it was called. Like, for, if you were like a single guy or whatever and you needed welfare and insurance. Mm-hmm. And it was limited. If I remember right, I never had to do it but I did know people that were on it. I feel like it was only good for like a year, maybe.
Why
or
can't I
two.
just live without it?
I'm not saying you can't.
But what I'm saying, like, why can't, just let me not have it. Let me not have auto insurance. Let me not have medical insurance. Just let me not have it. Just let me live without it instead. But no, I'm legally responsible to have it.
See, because remember, it used to be, you'd always hear, like, the hospital has to take care of you. You go there, they have to take care of you.
Mm-hmm.
They bill you for it. And you don't pay it, you don't pay it. Oh, well.
Yeah.
And that was on them. And then they'd say, oh, well, medical's got to be so high because you got to cover the people that come in and can't even pay their bill. So then
That's socialism, bro.
No, but that's what they were doing. That's why they were saying medical was so high. But at that time, medical was $400 a month, and then it wasn't that big of a deal.
Yeah.
But
yeah, even in 10 years.
I feel like all Obama did at this point, in my opinion, is just make sure the hospitals get their money. I feel like that's the only thing that happened in that case was that, you know what I mean? He made sure that they got their money.
Yeah.
You know? So that's how I feel Obama, that's all he did. I don't think he did anything to help the average Joe, because you could always go to the hospital and they had to take care of you anyway.
With the Affordable Health Care Act.
Yeah. I mean, they still do have to. If you don't have it, if you go there, I think they have a moral right that they have to take care of. They
definitely have proven to us that they could provide a lot more service to the American people than they're willing to provide by what they've done in the last 4 years. That they've given so billions of dollars
we're
to foreign
$35 trillion
countries.
in debt.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any
billions
sense.
They've given and neglected average Americans.
Oh yeah, it doesn't make it doesn't add up, and that's what I'm saying. They don't need our tax dollars.
Exactly.
They don't. I mean, there's enough in the sales tax. There's enough in the property tax. There's enough in that for what they need to do. Let's be honest. For what they had, the services that we're getting, we're actually getting,
which is not a whole
they're
lot.
getting enough out of the sales tax, out of the property tax, out of the oil and gasoline taxes and oil tax, all those different little things that you get. I think there's even taxes now, like when you go tanning in a tanning bed. If I remember
They're still doing that?
I don't know. I never go to tanning beds.
Somebody said they told me a story. Which is crazy. They told me a story the other day that one of those places, that real cheap workout place right now,
Planet Fitness.
Planet Fitness. There was some guy that went into a tanning bed in Planet Fitness, and they didn't find him for 4 days. And,
really?
Yeah. He was sitting there, and he was basically just like a blob of jelly, just laying there dead for 4 days.
But those things turn off all the way.
I know they did. They did, but he died.
He died in the bed.
He died in the bed, and they didn't find him for 4 days.
That's
and my
nasty.
question
that
is,
means they didn't clean it. They didn't look in the room. Nothing.
Like, somebody
so
not
gross.
responsible to clean this out.
Oh, that's nasty.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah,
I don't know how true that story is. By the way, I don't know. Somebody
see that's like what I with my daughter. I send her a news story. I wonder if that's true. A news story.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's true.
Yes,
that's where we're at in this world.
I don't know. Could you just go back to the innocence of being a child and knowing that you turn on the news and basically what they're saying is, facts. But we don't have that anymore.
I don't know. I didn't watch the news when I was a child. I watched Scooby-Doo.
I just kind of remembered, the news being boring because, that's what news would be. It would just be basically boring without opinion attached.
It probably still is to kids.
You think it's boring? I don't know. It's like watching WWE nowadays when you turn on the news.
Well, yeah. And this election cycle for sure.
For sure.
Holy shit.
You know why? Because then I started watching them all. And especially after I was like, I gotta watch this. I gotta see what's being said on the other sides of these aisles. So I'd turn on like Fox and I'd turn on CNN, MSNBC.
The View.
Yeah, The View. I'm watching them all now because I'm like, I want to see the outrage. I want to see like the tears that are being cried and. Oh my gosh, the world's going to come to an end. But yeah.
How did you feel about Whoopi Goldberg when you were 18 years old?
I loved Whoopi Goldberg.
I know,
she was so cool.
Sad?
She was so cool. Now she's just a hateful, spiteful.
I mean, I had that conversation with Bobby, who was just walked up here. That works for. That's my uncle. And
tell him come here and sit down.
No, he took off already. Right. But I had that conversation with him. He goes, the sad thing is I loved Whoopi Goldberg.
Whoopi was funny.
She was hilarious.
She was hilarious.
She was such a good actress. I mean,
what
she was
happened?
I don't know, man. I don't know why she felt like she had to go out and just be nasty to everybody. I mean,
she's so angry.
Yeah, I don't know where it came from.
And be funny again, Whoopi. Just go be funny.
Yeah, I mean, Ted Danson must have did a number on her.
What happened with Ted Danson?
I don't know. They were married.
Were they married?
Right? Yeah.
Oh, man, I vaguely remember that.
Yeah. Her and Ted Danson. He must have did a number on her. He really screwed her up.
The View, man. Yeah, The View. Man.
She's got like going after this bakery. Did you see that?
I did see that.
Like
she kind
she
of
doubled down, I guess, on it now. Like she's like that. Like at first she didn't even name who they were.
Yeah.
And then they put themselves out there, and now she's doubling down.
Don't you feel like that? Like in this particular like political arena, suddenly all of the rich and famous and all of these Hollywood stars have lost their influence. It's like it's gone. Like they used to have some leverage, but I feel like it's gone now. I feel like America just wants you to sing. I think America just wants you to be funny. Like they're just like, look, don't tell me how to think. Just go be funny. Just go sing a song. Just your country singer, sing a country song.
I don't think it's changed for like
Beyonce, just go up there and sing.
Kid Rock.
Kid Rock, right? I think they, yeah, but
that star power is still there.
Kid Rock, sing though. Like, yeah, I don't know. I've always
felt that way. Like their life doesn't affect the rest
LeBron
of us.
James,
like, that's
man,
not,
just play basketball.
And that's another one. I love LeBron James too. I mean, I still do. But he's got his opinions or whatever. But I mean, I loved LeBron James. You know, I mean, I was a big fan of LeBron James. Yeah, and I mean, even after he left, I was just
still liked him, huh?
I mean, I wasn't going to go watch the Miami Heat, but I'm just like, yeah, whatever. But when he came home, I was ecstatic, you know.
Me too. Yeah, I remember when the announcement was made.
I left work early.
But I felt like he really loved Cleveland. I feel like he really had an
letter.
affinity.
Remember the letter? I'm coming home.
I'm coming home. The song attached. Dude. Like it was such a story.
Oh my God, I've got goosebumps just now. Saying it.
I know. It was. I felt. I'm like, oh man, that's such a good story. But then he got so. His voice got it got bought. You could tell when the voice gets caught when it gets bought.
The worst part about that is that he has had no issues here. I mean, in Ohio, but and I don't think that he actually did in Miami either. But he's had a lot of issues in L.A. Like a lot of stupid shit, like people writing like racist shit on his fence and stuff. Like, why do you want to be there? Why would you want to be there?
He should have just listened to. I don't know if he had a PR guy, but I felt like he did when he was here.
I think it was all his people, though.
I think
he had only hired his own people.
I feel like he had a good PR group around him when he was here because he would answer questions right down the middle. He was very in the beginning of his career, he was very careful how he handled like cultural issues. He was just mindful of it, I felt like. And then the more popular he became, the more records he racked up, the more he got to rubbing around Hollywood's shoulders. Then all of a sudden he got influenced.
I don't even think it was that. I think the problem and the reason they were able to sell the racist bullshit on Trump, the whole reason is Trump's fault. It's all Trump's fault. Trump went after Obama, and Obama was a popular president.
You don't feel like a lot of the voices that created that hysteria around Trump and tried to use influences, you don't believe that was a conspired effort?
No, I believe that Trump caused his own problem.
You think so?
I know so.
How?
I see it.
But before, okay, he was a polarizing figure. He said things that he was very direct, and he said things. But before Trump, before he was that guy in the presidency, he was always that guy before, and they all loved him.
But
so
Obama was the left's person. That was their person. So
you're blaming the animosity on Obama?
No, Trump going after Obama. When Obama was president,
I see.
I think that's when Trump and he inflamed all that, and he made it easy for them to call him racist. Mm-hmm. But he wasn't going after race. He was going after Obama. He wasn't going after race. But he was going after a very popular president at the time.
He was.
I believe that time has shown that he wasn't a great president. He always was a good speaker. And you felt like he was, doing a decent job. I mean, I wasn't happy with his other stuff that I never would liked his policies, and I said that right from the beginning. I didn't vote for
I don't
him,
think anybody
that's for
paid
sure.
attention to his policies because he was so brilliantly warm and competent.
Yes.
And he had charisma. And that's
as
what
soon
makes
as Trump
charisma.
went after him, right away,
He was
a
demonized.
very popular president at the time, he went after him. And then when he runs for president, they just made it simple, call him racist. And it's believable if you're watching just a quick corpse and you've seen him go after Obama for 4 years, 5 years,
Yeah.
whatever it was that he went after Obama for.
Yeah.
He was constantly with the, birth certificate and, he's not a U.S. citizen and all that different.
That
all
doesn't
those
make him a racist, though.
It doesn't. All
No,
I'm
I
saying
think
is
that's
that's how they were able to sell it, I think. Because if you take Obama out of the equation, there's no way you could ever sell Trump as a racist. There's nothing in his career that's ever. They have that thing where they're his dad's apartments or whatever, but they were like, they actually had more races in there than they were required by law whenever they actually the charges were brought against him, but it didn't matter. I mean, that's just like just now they brought up charges on J.D. Tomlinson, but then they were dropped as soon as they went to court because they were unfound charges.
Did he win?
They were dropped. They didn't even
Did he win the election?
No.
No?
No.
Who was the other guy?
Who knows? All he posted was vote JD out.
Oh, man.
His name is Tony Cilio, I think.
Really? So he won like that?
Yeah. Yeah, basically, they put him in a bad light. This is what happened. They basically brought him up on charges that had no stand in them, okay? And when it got reported that he was indicted. Him and Burge were indicted, it said. It was not true. They were not indicted. I actually had JD on here.
I saw that.
Yeah, we had him on here, and he said on the podcast, he goes, I've never been indicted. I said, well, I thought you were. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's what they reported. It's kind of what it sounded like. I can't remember specifically, but I'm pretty sure it said that he was indicted.
That's what Trump should do, man. He should get him a good group of journalists. Sorry, an education policy put together to where we create honest journalism in America again.
Well, it'd be easy.
That'd be better.
All you need to do at this point, there's only two things you need to do. Elon Musk already has Twitter.
Okay.
Okay.
But don't you think the universities are a big contributing factor to the corrupt journalism?
I think they're starting to turn.
You think they're turning?
They're showing. Haven't you seen that? Like that was like that college kids was a they voted for Trump.
Definitely, a lot of them
I think it's
did.
starting to turn because I think that the biggest thing you have to do is get the real information out there, and the information that's getting out there is being censored right now. And YouTube is guilty of it as much as
they
anybody.
are terrible at it.
And Facebook is also guilty.
They are
of
terrible
it.
at it.
They're censoring things. So I think that's what like the same thing that Twitter is doing, where it's the wild, wild west.
It's
I think
not
you
the
need-
wild, wild west, man. You should have to go and like weigh
you do whatever you do.
critically think for yourself and weigh the opinions presented.
Sure. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But journalism should be this unaffected area where we raise up young minds to help America think critically as opposed to opinion-based. These are not op-eds. We need journalists, right? We need honest journalism, the accounting of the facts of things as opposed to being bought by one side or the other. And these universities are primarily funded with liberal tax
You're always
dollars.
going to have people, unfortunately, in journalism, you're always going to have people that their opinion is going to sway the way they believe. And I'm okay with that. It's the flat out lying where you're being dishonest, like when the North Carolina thing where he said they're fine people on both sides, and how they just overtly like leave out the fact that he said, I'm not talking about the Ku Klux Klan or the, that's just like, you're lying. And the same thing happened with him saying that Liz Cheney should line up in front of the guns. I mean, lining up in front of the guns, he's talking about she is making the
You're forcing
decisions
kids
to
to
put
go to war,
people
so,
out
yeah.
in that situation. But she's not. That's all he was saying.
She's just putting people out there, yeah.
And there's people out there that are like, they hear the quips and they believe that that's what he actually said was to put her in front of a firing squad. They
Yeah.
believe that wholeheartedly. So, but they don't, they didn't ban that on YouTube, and they didn't ban, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, they're very selective. You're right.
Yeah, and they banned things like.
They shut my Facebook account down. I had to rebuild my Facebook account.
Oh, really?
And I don't know why, but yeah, they just one day I woke up, it was gone.
I went to YouTube and they got rid of something because I questioned the results of the 2020 election.
Yeah,
like you can't do that. You can't do that.
I was so mad. Like, you took my Facebook down, dude. Like,
Yeah.
I had pictures, images, memories.
They own them.
What in the world? Like, I'm like, what? And all I was doing was really preaching the gospel. I'm not out here.
It was
I'm
probably
not telling
hate
you.
speech. They probably figured.
Well, then I guess, but yeah, I was astounded. So then I had to restart.
What did I think, was it on, it might have been on Rogan. I think he had a guy on there that he was talking about two intellectual people were having a conversation on I believe it was Facebook. I think it was what it was, Facebook. And they took it down and said it was hate speech. And they were just basically talking about the difference between Muslim beliefs and Christian beliefs. And they said it was hate speech. And he said it was a very civilized conversation about the two things.
Jordan Peterson, I've mentioned it before, he has some really interesting perspectives on, like, say, the liberal, the liberal left and then the conservative right. He's like, I don't know if this generalizes, but I heard him say this one time. It was interesting. The perspective was that you need the liberal left to push us into progress, because, like it or not, they're pushing us in a direction of progressing past where we are stuck and pushing us into. I don't ascribe to this theory, but it was an interesting theory. He said the progressive left pushes us forward in our thinking, in our beliefs, in our challenging of our old ways and thoughts. He said, but then there's the conservative right that's there to anchor us to the sacred. And while I believe in one more than the other, it's the anchoring to the sacred. I don't believe there needs to be a progress made past the anchoring in what is right. I thought it was an interesting perspective.
It's an interesting perspective because when you're anchored in that conservative beliefs, when you don't understand what's going on somebody who's not, it's like the experts. They always talk about the experts. The experts when they call it science. Well, the experts that were giving us science in 1910 believe very different than the experts that are good. So it's a progression, correct?
Yeah, it's a progression.
And that's something that has to happen. And he's right. I don't know that it means that we have to have men and women in the same bathroom, but
I don't think that's what it meant at all. And I think that's what. And I think the liberal, the progressive liberal of the Democrat side of the aisle has been taken hostage by lunacy, by just absolute hysteria. And it's been taken hostage by a percentage of society that is nefarious, perverted, destructive.
I'd argue there's almost not a conservative, old-fashioned conservative like there used to be. I'd argue that.
Oh, there is. I mean, clearly there is, because
Trump's not it.
Well, the majority of America said that's too much.
I get it.
Conservatism still exists because he won the popular vote, he won the House, won the Senate.
I get it, but I don't think it was under a conservative. I believe that Trump's stances are the exact same as Clinton's were.
I would agree. I would agree that they have been so successful at pushing us to the left, the middle. They've pushed the middle to the left so far that now to believe in
the left is right
in 1 week of abortion is where previously there wouldn't have been one conservative voter that would have said no, abortion is not permissible at any stage of pregnancy. And so they've moved that so far to the left that now conservatives are like, well, we'll give you up to the first 2-3 weeks.
Right.
Yeah, and that's what they've been successful at doing. And I'm hoping that, which is this is just more hope, but you would hope that this shift so far left would be a wake-up call for young people to say, no, we need to bring this back, and we need to.
I believe it is.
I feel like it's happening.
I believe it is. I believe that's why he got all the young college votes.
I feel like it's happening.
I think that young kids are that we want adults. I mean, we do want adults.
Please
even when you're a kid, you need adults in your life, and you want those adults in your life. Yeah. You want to do what you want to do, but you want to get away with it. You don't want to do it because you're just allowed.
Right, which is the part of why some people, I don't necessarily like the rhetoric of Trump as much as I do the policies. The rhetoric is like, stop. Could you please be presidential?
I don't even feel like he's had bad rhetoric.
Not lately.
No.
Not lately. I feel like he's trying to be more
I don't
presidential.
think he's trying. I think he's just accepted it.
I think he's very self-aware of himself, or more self-aware than he previously was in his first, where he could be like the guy who fires you before. Now he's like, no, I need to be a president.
It's bizarre, too. There's a lot more cussing going on.
I know. Please
from
stop
politics.
That. Yes, please stop.
Politicians.
That.
Why did they do that all of a sudden?
I don't know. It's not cool. Stop.
I don't like it.
I don't.
It's icky. And I'm a cusser. I cuss my ass off.
Use the F word.
Yeah, I will all day long.
My wife is like that. She's like, don't cuss. Don't cuss. I'm like, and whereas I grew up in the around people who swore all the time, it doesn't necessarily bother me. So I could be in a room, you cuss, it rolls right off of me.
But I don't want to see Reagan
But
cussing.
certain people, it does bother me, right? You get certain people, you're like, no, please. No, I believe so good. You're too pure for that,
Yeah,
it's like
I
when my
don't like
wife
it.
says something that they're like just off-putting. I'm like, don't say that. You're too pretty for that. Like, you can't talk like that. Let me talk like that. You can't talk like that. Or it goes back to the conservative perspective of like, I need my wife to be soft.
Sure.
I'll be the hard one.
Yeah.
You be soft. If you need the kids to be disciplined, I don't want you yelling at them. I don't need you like being me. I'll be me.
Right.
I just want. It bothers me when my wife shows masculine behavior. It's like, oh, don't do that. Don't do that. It's terrifying to me. Like, because I'm like, I must be not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. If you have to usurp my role and take on masculinity, then I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing as your husband, as your partner.
Got to. That's your own issues. That has nothing to do with her.
I don't know.
You should talk to somebody about that. That's not healthy.
You said that's not good.
I mean, a woman is curious and wants to try out and see if she can do it. So what? My grandmother was that person.
What? Like what? What do you mean?
My grandmother was that person that like she wanted to like prove she could do this or prove she could do that. You know what I mean?
I don't have a problem with that. I have a problem when it becomes aggressively masculine, like overtly too strong. Like it just, I don't. Yeah, I guess you would call me one of those. Like I'm.
Yeah, you got issues. You got issues for sure. You know what the greatest ever.
What?
The best. What is it called? The best compliment you can get is when somebody emulates you.
Okay.
So
it is. I often say that. That's
so.
True.
I mean,
it's not derogatory.
That means they think highly of you, or want to just see what it's like to be in your shoes for a minute. That's all. Nothing wrong with that.
Well, yeah, I don't know.
My daughter actually does things
strong.
like I mean, when I come home one day, and I lived in South Lorraine, my first house. And I come home one day. It had that original, like, the tile, the pink tile,
Yep.
Countertops and stuff that they used to have in the 50s or whatever when they built those. Still had that in the counter, in the kitchen, in the bathroom. And a couple pieces had broken off. And I thought, well, I'm going to replace this anyways or whatever, And I come home one day and it's fixed.
She fixed it.
She was 4 years old.
Oh. She's like, I'm done living in this house like this. I ought to put some pants on and fix some stuff.
That's how she is, man. I pulled up one time, and I had a whole truck full of mulch. I had bought the bags because that house specifically, like you had to go through the garage, like through the door in the garage, and it's just too much to take the bags back there to mulch it. It was just easier. So I got this whole truckload of probably 45 bags of mulch, something like that, 2.5 yard bags. She comes out around the same time, like 3-4 years old. She goes, "Can I help you?" And I, being a smart ass like I am, I go, yeah, you can unload the truck. And I walked in the house and I come back out. She's got it all unloaded.
No way.
Swear to God.
Wow.
Unloaded. Every freaking bag unloaded out of the truck.
My daughter's like that. She's real like, don't tell me what to do, but in a I don't know how, but it's somehow very conservative. Like she still thinks like me. She's still very opinionated like me, but she's just very soft and secure in her womanhood, and I can see myself in her, but it's me as like a tender, nurturing, loving woman, which is really weird to look at. You know, you look at your kid and see that. It's really crazy, but she does it.
Yeah, those are your issues.
Yeah, I have issues.
That's definitely your issue.
I take him to Jesus, though. You know what I mean?
None of us want a manly woman. I'm not saying that. But I mean,
that's not what I mean. I just mean like
they could play hopscotch a little bit. You know, a little double dutch.
Yeah, I guess I'm saying I don't need her to be like.
Who cares what you need? What does she need?
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. I think it freaks me out.
Maybe she needs it sometimes.
Yeah, maybe
sometimes she needs it. It has nothing to do with you.
Just all messed up.
The world does not revolve around you. I know you think it does, but it does not.
I do not think that. Jimmy's over here. He's lying, guys. We're sitting here having conversation. That's not all I meant. So we're having Thanksgiving dinner.
Who's cooking the turkey?
Me.
Well, what do you mean?
Me.
What?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
What are you doing?
What do you mean? That's a woman's job.
Those are not traditional gender roles.
You can't do this.
It's just gonna make her. You're gonna freak her world out. She's gonna have to go outside and.
You're doing it on a grill or in the house?
I don't know. I don't know what I've decided yet to do. I'll cook some kind of beef, some kind of turkey. But one of the things I thought about was, as a kid, how Thanksgiving has, like, the whole holiday for me has just become something totally different, and now I just want back the innocence of that, the innocence of what
something different. What do you mean?
Well, it's just like the more you know, the less. Well, really, what it comes down to is like I'm like, man, I just want to go back to when I was a kid, and the life that I lived was so simple. And at least the way I saw it was simple. And this is our family, and we all love each other, and we're all gonna have dinner together, and life is gonna be like this ball of security and strength, and our family is our family. And then, you know, the older I get, the more I'm like, man, families are all jacked up, man. We're all messed up, you know. Like, we're mad at each other. We're angry. We got issues. And
we had different families. One Thanksgiving, my Aunt Cheryl come over to the table and beat the shit out of my dad's girlfriend. So, I mean,
that was your normal. Oh, man, Jimmy, I'm sorry. Now, those are your issues, Jimmy.
That's a true story.
I can't believe it. I just like, man, I just want to go back. So I'm really, this year, I'm like really focused on like creating an atmosphere of like security around the dinner table, and bringing people to this place of saying, like, it exists, man. There's a family that's still here.
Still one of my favorite
Committed,
holidays is Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I
love Thanksgiving.
For some reason, I'm starting to have more of an affinity for Thanksgiving than I do for any of the others.
That's always been one of my
what
favorites.
It represents.
We were doing it here for a while because my mom likes doing it because I'm closed. And then my mom likes cooking in the big kitchen and all that stuff. And it's fun to her, you know. But I think that I've gotten to a point now where I don't like it here because I want to be home comfortable, sit down. Everybody sits down, enjoys. Even if I'm not at home, but there's like a couch to sit on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
football game in the background.
Yeah. I like it
Christmas
better that
music
way.
on in one room. And just this whole, that vibe. I'm looking for that vibe this year more than any other.
I mean, it's a cool vibe when we do it here, too. I'm not saying it's not. But it gets so big. There's so many people come. And my mom likes it. She always likes putting on the big, Thanksgiving dinner, and I don't know how she does it. My daughter did it a couple years ago, and it might have been 2020. She did a fantastic job. I mean, she was I mean, I don't know how she did such a good job, but it was, I mean, everything came out great. And that was when she first got the house or whatever. We were over there, and that one was a great Thanksgiving too. But I enjoyed that more than I do like here in the restaurant.
Yeah.
Because I just like that being in the house with a couch, just relax.
That's my prayer.
Just,
yeah.
It's good stuff.
That's what I want for my family this year, and just like everybody, just come on, man. Let's stop being mad at each other.
I have a
stop
dream.
being divided.
I have a dream.
Okay, look, talk to me. I'm okay.
I have a friend that has a cabin. His family has a cabin. His name is Michael Belt. His friends or his family has a cabin that's huge, and it can house their whole family. And they all go and meet there for Thanksgiving, and they do the whole weekend there.
Is it good?
It sounds amazing. It sounds wonderful. It's the whole family's there, and it's not just for one day. They're there for the weekend.
They're there for the weekend.
They go hunting. They go paintball.
Oh man, that would be.
They go.
Cool.
I mean, it sounds like it's like 40 of them.
That
you know
would
what I
be
mean?
cool.
It seems like that
As long
would
as
be.
like there was no division or anger or angst or I just feel like I mean, you just look at every family today, and every family I talk to, man, it's like
There's always some.
they're just mad at each other. Like,
There's always going to be something going on.
Is it all? It's not that big a deal, man. Let's just get over it.
I don't disagree. I'm the first person to like. I don't hold grudges. I'm somebody that doesn't hold grudges.
I can't either.
Yeah, it's not. I don't think it's healthy for me or anybody else.
Do you think holding a grudge is the same as holding principles?
Holding a grudge is the same as holding principles? No, I don't think so.
No, they're not. They're different. Okay.
I don't. I hope not. Yeah.
Make sure I didn't have some weird thing in my mind, because I'm like, no, I'm still gonna. I can still be me and not be mad at you for.
We don't have to agree for me to like you.
We don't have to agree. Yeah, right.
I mean, we don't have to agree at all on anything.
Right.
But,
I love and like people, because loving and liking is two different things, man. Like, you forced to love certain people, but you ain't forced to like anybody.
Yeah,
right?
I don't.
You want
think
to be
you
around
have
the
to
people
agree
you
with,
like, right?
In fact, I think it'd be a boring world if we all agreed.
I don't. Yeah, and I'm not looking for that. So just stop forcing everybody to think like you. Like, I'm just. You know what I mean? Like, you don't think like me. It's fine. I'm not mad if you don't think like me.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm sitting across the table from you. Like, you don't think like me.
No.
But I love
we think a
hanging
lot
out.
more alike
I know,
than.
I
I mean,
know.
we really do, but I mean.
But I'm saying is that we don't have to make those points of like difference, division.
That's me
we don't
and
have
Guido.
to turn
We
them
don't
into
think alike
division.
about a lot of things, but we get along great.
Man,
but there's a lot of things we don't think a lot of.
There's so many people I like and don't think like. I'm like, man, I love that. I love hanging around with that guy.
In fact, there's people that do dumbass shit, but I kind of
Exactly.
envy
I love
that.
those
like, I'm
guys.
kind of like, I wish I could do dumb shit like that.
Man, there's some
and
people
be okay with it. You know what I mean?
Yes. There's a lot of people I'm like, why do you like him? I don't know, man. He's fun to be around. He's a jerk, but man, I really like to hang around with him. He's funny to be around.
Yeah.
I love there's people like that. I can't even name them because I don't want to offend them. But there's a lot of people I'm like,
Your Uncle
man,
Vern?
That dude. Uncle Vern is.
Uncle Vern, he's calling you out.
No, I didn't say that about Uncle Vern. Uncle Vern. Uncle Vern, man, he was a superhero for me for many years. Uncle Vern was. He was a superhero, dude. Like,
oh, I believe it.
He was like the guy. Like, don't mess with me. I got an Uncle Vern. You know what I mean? Like, and really, I attribute a lot of the man that I became and becoming to those really moments of nurturing, like forming at a young age.
Yeah, he was your father figure for sure.
For sure. He was very masculine, very strong. For sure. Yeah. So he was a superhero for a while.
Yeah, my dad was my superhero.
Yeah.
I thought he was amazing.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
I
mean, I did and I didn't. I don't know.
Today my dad is.
Yeah,
When I was
today
younger,
I did
he
and I
wasn't.
didn't. I don't know how to explain that. Like he annoyed the shit out of me, but I also never felt safer than when he was around.
Man, I didn't know my dad until I was in the 6th grade, right? Mm-hmm. And then just went through those weird cocky years of teenage, And then as I got older, I began to understand some of the struggles of my father. And then when he died, when he died, it broke my heart. For the last 6 years of his life, he was such a man. He was a solid dude, man. And you would look back and people will ask me things, I'm like, I can't remember a bad thing about my father. He said, you didn't know him until he was sick. That's not. I said, bro, there's nothing. I can't speak negatively about that guy. Every experience I ever had with him was one where I learned, man, like where those last 6 years were gold to me. Those were gold. He came into my office, and I was older, doing all right. I knew the Lord. I was strong. I never really held any resentment towards him for anything, no matter what was said. I'm good. I'm not mad at my dad. Like, I've got daddy issues. He came in, and he didn't tell me this, but I think he knew he was dying. He came to my office, and he said, I need you to forgive me. I need to ask your forgiveness. I'm like, Dad, it's so good, man. There's no big deal, man. It's nothing to forgive. And then I heard the Lord tell me, like, you have to tell him he's forgiven because he's in the jail of the prison of unforgiveness, that he feels that he did you wrong. And so there I just said, hey, look, we're never going to have this conversation again. You're forgiven. There's nothing between us. We're good. We're solid, Dad. And he said, remind you, I'm a grown man.
Right.
And he said, look, I want to do something. He said, I want to do something to prove to you that I'm your father. What can I do for you? And I just sat there and I just looked at him like, I don't, you know what I mean? Like, I
Take
don't
a
need
DNA test.
I don't need anything. Come on, Reese, Bobby. Way to ruin the moment, Jimmy. and he said, what can I do for you? And I'm kidding you, man. I'm not kidding you. He said, what can I do for you? I said, look, I thought about it for a minute. I said, well, what's the thing I need? I don't need money. I don't need, you know what? I'm always worried about my mom. I said, hey, look, you want to help me out? I just said it jokingly. I said, look, you want to help me out? Marry my mom, because she's the only concern I have now. Just her growing old alone. Like, I need somebody to take care of mom. He said, I'll do that.
They were good like that?
This guy, no, not really. No, not really. But he said, I'll do that, right? So he spent the next 6 years trying to get my mom to marry him.
Really?
And she wouldn't do it. She would not do it. But, man, he chased her every week. He would drop off candy for my kids at the doorstep.
Dude, this is one of those things where you see these opposite ends of things. You see this great thing that your dad did, and your mom's like, why did you give me a stalker?
He was awesome, man. For me, though, I'm like, oh, man. I mean, it literally, like, I was so impressed by it. He built, he spent a lot of time with me. He was a carpenter. He could, he was HVAC. He did do everything. And he spent those last 6 years. He built, like, my daughter a house in the backyard.
Where did he live when we were when we were like in grade school?
Arkansas.
And then he moved back up here?
Yeah, later, yeah. Probably when I was in college, he moved back up here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, right around 19, 20.
I vaguely remember.
He probably came in here.
I vaguely remember I vaguely remember like when that whole thing went down.
Yeah.
Like vaguely. I bet
remember that?
Yeah, but I didn't remember where he was from. I knew it wasn't here, but I couldn't remember where it was.
Yeah, I got a sister in Little Rock, Melissa. What's up, Melissa? And she, so he was down there with her. And
How old is she?
She's probably, man, I'm sorry, Melissa. 30s, mid-30s.
Okay, it's quite a bit
30,
younger
40.
than you.
Yeah, she's younger than me. Yeah, she was a little girl when I went down there. Yeah, she's probably 40-ish. Yeah.
Okay.
But, yeah, I was, you think about that, and I just want to provide that, going back to Thanksgiving, I just want to create an environment this Thanksgiving for our family and kids, one that fosters forgiveness and restoration and
Don't
peace.
do that. Just enjoy the day.
Yeah, I'm going to, but
otherwise you're going to end up like Clark Griswold. You want the perfect holiday, and it's just not going to be there.
I mean, that's a lot to talk about, You
just
right?
enjoy the moment.
You do want the perfect holiday. The older you get, the more you're like, man, I just want my family. I just want
my Christmases and Thanksgivings were just amazing to me. Even with my Aunt Cheryl coming across the table. Mm-hmm. They were just, to me, they were magical. I mean, they were just They were magical. So I was always good to my kids to try and make sure they had. Literally, my daughters never woke me up for Christmas. I always went in and got them
up early.
Every time, like 5 in the morning, 4:30. Oh yeah.
You was knocked out by 9.
Oh yeah. I would I was up till late, but I would get up bright and early, and I would get a fire going in the fireplace. I'd get a turkey in the oven, so you got that smell.
Nice. You're giving me ideas. That's a
Nat
good one.
King Cole on the radio. You know what I mean?
How
get
do
all
we
the
get
Christmas
like that?
lights.
I'm the same way, yeah.
I loved Christmas growing
I did
up.
too.
That was I loved it. I don't know. My grandma would do numbers because I always spent Christmas at my grandma's. I never did. Even when I did do Christmas, usually my mom would do it the night before, and then I'd go to my grandma's. Christmas morning, I had to be at my grandma's. That's just what my life was, and that was never going to change. So when she would buy presents, there was all the kids. So she had 5, 6 kids, and then 2 grandkids. So she didn't pretend Santa came or nothing. She would just
No way.
put them under the tree or whatever, and she would put numbers on them.
So you were like number 7.
Yeah, but you didn't know.
You didn't know what your number was.
You don't know till
That's
Christmas
brilliant.
morning.
I'm going with that.
So she would put them under, and it would be, you would go to bed dreaming about being number 4, number 3. Or, you had that dream, man. You seen them boxes, you're like, I want to be number 3. Like you'd be just dreaming about what could be in number 3, in the morning. Then you get up and you wouldn't get it. And you would do your deductive reasoning, like, oh, there's 2 of each of the 3 and 5, so those are Danny's and Bobby's. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it must be that.
But it was exciting. It was just, and my grandma would cook everything from scratch for homemade. The whole neighborhood would come over to eat when she would cook because my grandma made everything, homemade everything. I mean, everything.
Man.
Pies, cakes, everything. Nothing was boxed, processed.
Does anybody do that anymore?
I
don't feel like it's there anymore, man. I feel like that's gone.
Did I tell you the story about the applesauce with my grandma and my ex-wife?
I don't know.
Oh, it was one of my grandma loved my ex-wife at first. And then the one day she brought over a bag of apples. She goes, they're getting ready to go bad. My ex is thinking, why are you giving me apples that are going to go bad? I think she even said that. She goes, well, you could still make applesauce with them. My ex-wife looked at her and goes, it's like 25 cents a jar.
He's like, why am I going to make
My
applesauce?
grandma lost it. She's just like, oh, okay, never mind that.
We're not the same. We are not the same.
So, yeah, I mean, everything was scratch.
Yeah, my kids got old. They're all older now, except for the one little boy we have. He's 7. And I told Beck, I said, look, we're just going to give the kids a card this year with cash in it, They won't want presents. You shaking your head, no. I was like, they won't want presents, And then she floated that idea, and they're like, no. We want presents. We want presents.
The thing is, you could give them the cash, and even if you go and buy cheap dollar store stuff,
they want presents.
You want some presents, even if you can give them a bulk of money, but some cheap dollar store stuff or something to open, at least something. Yeah, you definitely want.
I feel like that was a compliment. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, all right. Well, we'll give you presents up to a certain amount, Yeah,
my daughter one time they wanted that Barbie Grand Hotel, and it's a cheap piece of crap. I mean, it's just junk. And my ex is going, we're not buying this thing. It's junk. It's trash. Not doing it. I refuse to buy this piece of crap because it's all over the TV or whatever. And she just keeps telling him that it's too expensive, where you're not going to get it, So, and we went and did shopping together and stuff, but Christmas Eve, I'm going, it just didn't sit right with me,
You went out and got it?
I went out and got it. We're out, and we're doing Christmas Eve in Medina, so I go and get this thing, right, and we wrap it up, we put it under the tree, and these kids open it up, and they start screaming.
Did your wife know?
Top of their lungs. Oh, she knew,
Oh.
They start screaming at the top of their lungs, and they're yelling, Santa Claus wasted all his money. Like, they're screaming it at the top. Dude, the greatest thing I've ever had in my life, like, for Christmas was that moment. Like, that pure excitement of, like, just pure kid excitement over $100 toy. It was literally, I think, $90.
Yeah.
But at the time, it wasn't worth $90,
Yeah.
Yeah. Of course, now you see them, and if you got an original, and you sell it on Amazon.
Have you been to Castle Noel in Medina?
I have not, but I was just looking at it 2 or 3 days ago, and I thought that's a great idea. You have got
to go.
Yeah, I'll have to go check it out.
It's crazy because you'll go through this one room, and it'll be all the toys from your childhood.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, it's just on either side. I mean, it's over your head. It's everywhere. And it's nothing but toys from history.
That is awesome.
And a majority of them are from our era. So you're looking like, I had that. I mean, it's crazy. And the whole thing is just full of memorabilia of Christmas bygone.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's just like you walk through the attic. The RV from Christmas National Lampoon.
Yeah.
Is in the back. The
actual one?
RV is in the back.
It's the actual one?
It's the actual RV. The guy went and got it and drove it. He literally
that is cool.
Drove it all the way. And it's parked right there in the back. I didn't think I'd like it. I went in. I was just like, the whole time, I'm just walking around, my jaw down.
I just seen it like probably 2 or 3 days ago, and I've been meaning. I haven't even said nothing to my wife yet. I've been meaning to tell her we need to do that.
It's worth the trip. It's worth the trip. I don't know what it costs again. I can't remember. My wife, did it. And we're like, we got to go back.
Yeah, it looks cool. I think I want to try it out for sure.
And then get some hot, you get some hot cocoa down there, have some dinner on the Medina Square there. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. I always like Medina Square. They've got a lot of. They got a tea room there that my daughter used to go to when she was younger all the time.
Yeah.
But all right, I think we've been on it. We've been going at it for
how long?
2.5 hours.
Oh my goodness.
2.5 hours in a show about nothing.
Hours, dude. We're just sitting talking about nothing.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
It's like Seinfeld.
Sorry.
It's a talk show about nothing.
Sorry, we got opinions.
All right, we're getting out of here. It was nice talking to you, Troy.
Yeah, you too, bro.